Hi there folks, welcome to another Homebrew Wednesday. Today I'm going to be doing some racking for you. I know we've done racking before, it's not the bottling video I'd hoped to give to you, but what we're going to do today is finally rack the mead. It's really definitely time that it gets racked into, into a proper container, a demijohn, with an airlock on the top of it, and it also gives me an opportunity to try them both and see if they've actually worked. Now, after the unfortunate disaster of the Melamel, we're actually going to be able, hopefully at this point, to have a successful mead, fingers crossed, because if it does work out, then that's fine. I can take a very small sample of each one and try them, and thereafter be able to figure out whether or not it's all gone horribly wrong. Hopefully it hasn't. Anyway, let's get on with that. Now, to begin with, we have our mead, the easy peasy mead, which I'm going to start off by placing up here. We then have the demijohn, which I place here to keep the centre of gravity, to make him flow into the demijohn. As you can see, I've wrapped the top here in cellophane. I've got my sterilised plunger and an airlock and button on a sterilised plate, so everything's being kept clean. And a glass, so that I might have a tiny little taste. Now the first step here is going to be to cut the airlock at the top. As you can see, the balloon can be stretched up and cut. There's a very light smell there. It doesn't smell particularly strong, but then again, I only had a tiny waft there. And now we'll just pop this in. To pop this down. Let's see if I can't get just a tiny bit. Just a taste. Okay. Now let's get it going properly. There we go. Now, it's pouring through quite nicely. I'll stand over here, so as you can see, you'll be able to see on the secondary camera. It's filling up. And we're going down quite well. Again, as before, making sure not to touch the very, very bottom, because you don't want to pick up the sediment that has accrued there. It's far better if you don't. What we'll do at this point is simply fill it up and then get the stopper in. That's about halfway done. We're just less than halfway filled up. Yep. This is the point where you have to start being a little bit more cautious, purely because if you're not cautious at this stage, you will end up funking the bottom of the very bottom of the pipe can go through, and then you end up picking up all your sediment, which is precisely what you don't want to do. Now, I can see a little bit of it has been stirred up, which is fairly unavoidable at this stage. But ideally what we want here is to get as much of it as possible without getting the very bottom. Now, what we have left at the bottom there that's a good amount. What I'll do now, I'm just going to top up my airlock. I'm using water this time. There we go. Now, and to see how it tastes. It has almost an appley smell about it. Very slight yeastiness, obviously. It's very different from the yeastiness of the previous one. It's very clean tasting. It doesn't taste terribly alcoholic, but you can definitely taste a little alcohol there. It's very refreshing, very fresh. I think that's one that's going to taste absolutely fantastic, especially after I've laid it down for 6 months. It's definitely going to need at least 6 months just to really bring out the depth of flavour, because there's very subtle flavours going on there. I think overall I'm going to call that a success. Now, the trick is at this point is to make sure that what I don't do is end up getting it aerated and for it to go off. So our next step will be to bottle that, and what I'll probably do is I'll probably bottle that in about a month's time. So far so good. Wait, that's been this week's Homebrew Wednesday. Hasn't been much else to report really. I'm currently in the process of looking for a bottle corker. I think I've found one that would be quite good to use, so it's just a case of grabbing hold of one and then getting some wine bottles, and that should be us sorted out. After that, it's on to the beer. So here's looking forward. So I hope you've had a pleasantly enjoyable May, and hopefully June will be able to kick in with some nice summer weather. So till then, happy Homebrew Wednesday, and I'll see you around. Cheers.